Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this celebration of the relaunch of the Dr. Julie Show. I think it's really important that we come together and we energize and bless and celebrate the new initiatives that are coming out into the world that are really dedicated to nourishing and uplifting our capacity to live for the good of the whole. And this is one of those times. My name is Teresa Collins, and I am from the Global Coherence Pulse and the Islands of Coherence. And I am really honored to be hosting Julie Kroll for this celebration event. Not something that she normally does for herself, but something that she does for others through her shows and through her hosting with Good of the Whole. So, Julie, this is your day for us to celebrate you and for us to celebrate the relaunch of the Dr. Julie Show. And I'm super excited that we can do this for you today.
Thank you, Teresa. You're the perfect person to do this. So thank you for hosting this and bringing your voice in. And as you were talking, I'm excited to launch the show again. I'm really excited to bring these two new series we're going to talk about out to the world. It's so important. And really ramp up the messaging on the planet, right? Like this is the time to get these kinds of messages out. And so I'm just really honored to be a vehicle for that, to be a vessel to get it out into the world. So thank you. And I'm so excited about all these people in the room with us and celebrating with us. And the messages, all of a sudden I've started getting all these text messages in. So it just feels really good to relaunch the Dr. Julie Show and see what's next. So thanks, Teresa.
Yeah. And receive this kind of love and support, and that what you're doing really does make a difference. And moments like this are important because we seed the field with the energy that we're putting in, and you're surrounded by love today. And so the launch of this is full of love and energy. And I'm going to add Cheryl Lynn in. You asked her if she would come and do an opening attunement for us. We do that all the time. Like we come to meetings and we start things with actually centering in some kind of an attunement. So if you want to introduce Cheryl Lynn, and she can do our attunement for us.
I will, because Cheryl Lynn is not only my bestie, but she has been with the Dr. Julie Show for all 9.5 years and has been one of the fan favorites of a guest on the show. So it's been an honor. I don't know how many shows we've done together, Cheryl. Do you know? Have you ever counted?
No, a
No,
lot.
I just had the memory come up on Facebook today of the show we did last year of talking about transforming tomorrow or a transformative tomorrow. I don't remember the name of it. And it was a big show and it was, yeah. So I'm excited like to go out and put the link to that one and get that out because it was a good memory. So I asked you to come and just send a blessing out and help to activate energetically what we're doing as we relaunch the Dr. Julie Show and just bring us all into our heart space as well. So yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks.
Well, thank you for the energy that you've put into the show and for all the souls that you've touched already and the millions more that you're going to touch with the relaunch. So I just want to say that personally. So if everyone could just take a minute and just close your eyes wherever you are, whether you are listening to this live or listening to a recording. Just take a few deep breaths into your heart center. And as you're breathing in, just feel the energy that we're creating together. All of these beautiful lights across the planet. And just know that if you're listening to this with your ears, you're receiving this frequency, this vibration. But if you can imagine across the planet right now, there are all of these other beings who may know nothing about this conversation that we're having today or nothing about the Dr. Julie show, but they are asking deeply for something new, a deeper conversation, a new understanding of what's possible, and a connection beyond the physical, where they feel that they know that that's possible, but they may not even be sure what that means. And just feel all those lights across the planet right now, feeling us having this conversation, and knowing that Julie, as our leader in this particular vortex that we're creating together, is a transmitter of light. That she has a unique ability to feel beneath the words what is being called for and what is possible. And as we look at this vast network of beings connected across the planet, knowing that this is the matrix that is the Dr. Julie show, and we know that in this new energy, what is being called for is to bring together the brilliant minds, the creative souls, the compassionate hearts, the wise beings who are drawn to the Dr. Julie show's particular light transmission. And that all of these beings are dancing at the edge of consciousness with the shared vision of reminding us of our interconnectedness and our interdependence, and that we truly are connected, whether we use those words or not. So this show, this new show, brings in elements that were firmly anchored in place, laying a foundation. But now, with Julie's renewed energy and new encodements that she is embodying, the show is launching off like a rocket into a whole new realm of possibilities. And we are here in this moment, supporting fully this vision and knowing that we each have a piece of this puzzle, and that whatever we are called to give comes back to us multiplied because we are all connected. So go forth, Dr. Julie and the Dr. Julie Show, all things connected, knowing that the amplification has occurred and it is time to move.
Thank you. That was perfect.
Love you.
I love you.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Well, Julie, and we can leave Cheryl Lynn on for a minute because she's been here this whole time, but 9 years the Dr. Julie show was going and has seeded so much of this conversation around conscious evolution and kind of what's possible when we join together and our genius and our love and all of that. And I know then you took a pause after those 9 years to really find out what was true and what was your call to service, which I think is a powerful message for all of us, to really take the time to see what is mine to do now. And we end up doing a lot less than we did before, right? We end up finding out what's essential. So I'd love to hear just a little bit about, the 9 years of the Dr. Julie Show. Let's kind of honor what's been. Let's talk a little bit about the pause and what's new that's coming through right now.
Mm. Thanks, Teresa. As you said that, I didn't plan anything to say, but reflecting back, there's a couple things that I think are fun to share, because it's been 9.5 years now. And I should tell the little inception story of the show too. I'll tell that in a second. But when we first began, and I didn't have any idea what I was doing, and David Eisen was my first producer, manager person. He's like, we're going to do the Dr. Julie Show, and I'm going to help you. And he was so experienced in radio and other things, and he helped me and worked out all those details. And it was just a really good support system. But when I began with the Dr. Julie Show, All Things Connected, it was as if we were trying to prove all things were connected. So the show began by inviting guests on, and we were trying to bring in the science, and we were bringing in the examples. And it was like, that was the early conversations. Like, let's wake up, because we all need to understand that all things are connected. And then I remember the moment when one of my former mentors, whom I've loved, Joan Borosienko, her publicist called me to be on the show, and something shifted. And when that happened, it was like the show elevated. And then I began noticing that we weren't trying to prove it anymore. When I would say the first traditional question, what does all things connected mean to you? People would go, at first it would be like, well, the science, and they would answer in that way. And then after some time, it was like, because it is like, what does all things connected mean? It means the true nature of reality. It was like the answers started getting so much clearer. And then always with Cheryl, it's like, do I have to answer that question again? How many different times can I answer? Because the repeat guests. But what was happening was repeat guests would start answering that with new elements, and new threads would be coming in, and it just became this beautiful thing. But earlier in 2022, I had moved my show from Transformation Talk Radio to Empower Radio. And late last year, early 2022, Brent Carey, the founder of Empower, said, we're going to make some changes. And I'd be like, okay, let's meet, let's talk. What are the changes? And we began some conversations. And finally, he just said, it's time, we're going to be closing. And he was going through his process. And at first I was just like, okay, all is well, we'll figure it out. No big deal. And I went into my normal, of course, it's going to change. It's okay. We'll be okay. And he had some solutions for transitions, and was working with all the hosts on the network, and did a beautiful job. And all of a sudden it was just like, it's time to stop everything and pivot and really go deeper, like you were mentioning. And so that was the process that I took. It was like no direction was in front of me. I could not see, where was I going to take the show? Who was going to host the show? Who was going to help produce the show? What was going to, and I thought I could just continue on, and I really couldn't. I had to go into that deeper process. And that was an important journey for me and the show. And I think this new evolution really is about a deeper, more authentic voice from me, but also my guests, more intimacy, more truth telling. When we introduce the series, I'll talk about those two pieces that I think are important, and a shift away from, publicists sending their books and wanting the authors on, and okay, Julie reads a book every week and brings the authors on, which are a great, amazing collection of guests we've had for 9.5 years. It's been amazing. But there's something about bringing in that one thread of unitive consciousness and really coming in with a bigger voice right now, right there. And so I don't know what that's going to look like after these first two series start. I'm excited to talk about the series, but the show, I think there'll be some more solo shows, some shorter solo shows of me and my voice, but it feels like the guests and the direction that we take will be emergent and responsive and really in a different place than where we've been. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that presents too, because I really don't know, beyond these two new series that I've already been working on and recording, um, what's going to happen beyond then. We'll all find out in real time, I guess.
I love that actually, because the two new series actually rose out of not knowing, right? The no thing. And I think that's an important kind of space where, we let go and then we see like what's going to arise from here. And I love that the Dr. Julie show stayed, right? Because there was the opportunity that maybe it was complete. And what new that is arising is beautiful. I don't know, Sherilyn, if you want to say something about the 9 years, and then we'll watch the new trailer that you made, because that sets the new energy for the show.
Is it okay if I tell one on you, Julie?
Sure.
Yes, please.
So before the 9 years, Julie and I were talking one day, and I said, I think it was a we at that point. We should really do a radio show. And she was like, I still remember. I still remember. I think we both had been guests on a radio show on Brent's network, and we could do a really good one. And you were just like, get away from me. And then I don't know what happened because I wasn't there the moment you changed your mind. But all of a sudden, you were doing a radio show. And it was amazing that because I always had seen that if I did it with you, it was only to get you going because it wasn't my thing. And so you didn't see it then, but now it's like, and now you're okay with not seeing what's next. Then it was all right. Well, I could maybe take a baby step, but I'm so proud of you.
Mhm.
I will say that.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
It's so nice to have you with that energy of like from the beginning, Shelley Lynn, and really being a partner in the process. And I can feel the love, and it's going to be a brand new thing. So why don't we, Julie, why don't we have Kaylin play your new trailer, which is beautiful, something you've worked on as a way to launch it. And then we'll bring in some more fun friends to share a little bit in the celebration. That I love that. So beautiful
Mhm.
and such a nice energy. Do you want to say something about the making of that? Because that was part of your journey too, is how do I launch this new thing visually?
Yeah, thank you. You know, as I was watching it this time, I was reminded of the process because I asked several of you for input on the process, and I wanted to put in my favorite things that I felt were just beautiful. And they're like, what does this have to do with all things connected? What does this have to do? You know, and so it was a process to define the Dr. Julie Show and have it be represented visually. And I just want to give a shout out to my daughter, Quincy, who said, for when it says for evolutionary change makers. And I didn't have that in there. Like I had evolutionary leaders, but I didn't have anything in there. I didn't want to say who the show was for. And my daughter was like, Mom, it's just the truth of who it is, and claim that. And so it was like my daughter saying, this is for evolutionary change agents. And that's who's tuning in. And we need it in that way. Like don't, it's okay to claim it. So it was just a fun moment to have people's input and put it together. Yeah. Thanks. And the music. I love that music. And what you heard will be a part of the intro and the outro of every show. That music was created by Gary Malkin and gifted to me. And hopefully he's in the Zoom room here because he's going to be with us today. But it is really, there's something about that music, and I'll just say a word about it because I think it is an important piece too, of really reclaiming the feminine. So this feminine voice is in that music. And I called Gary and I said, I love this one piece. It's the only one I want. It's it, but is it too feminine? And he goes, oh no, it is the most balanced piece of music I've written. It's got the drumming and the masculine, and everything musically that's holding the piece together is masculine, and the voice is coming in, weaving in. It's the most balanced masculine feminine piece that I have. And I'm like, yes, no wonder I like it. I love that piece. But I really love that woman's voice. Like it makes me go, yes, this is good. This is good. So
Yeah, claiming that new level of power and presence, Julie, that has come on the other side of you actually taking a pause and letting go,
yeah.
and as Shelley Lynn said, that's not easy for most of us. And all of a sudden when it occurs, then something, majestic can rise in its presence. And speaking of that, I'm going to bring in Dot, dear friend and colleague. We've been doing lots of fun things together and certainly participating together in intentional launches where we're putting our energy and we're saying, yes, we want to support this to do something beautiful and powerful in the world. So we wanted to bring your energy in, Dot, and your presence in as part of this blessing.
Thank you, Teresa and Julie Krull. Oh my goodness. First of all, music. That's where we actually first met in person, around music. So I want to say thank you for answering the call and for honoring your own chrysalis experience, which most of us just leap over the goose stage. That is not easy. And then all of a sudden we're trying to figure out where we are, what we're going to do. Thank you. What a demonstration model. You've always been a forerunner. And here you are again, as we plant both feet and all of our hearts in the new era, which is emerging. And your grace, speaking of which, I love the book, Fractured Grace. I'm going to read one sentence from Fractured Grace. You are invited to step outside of fear and anxiety and create beauty, peace, and healing for yourself. And as I said to you earlier, now my heart sings. It's grace, Julie. It's grace. Oh my goodness. Also love that, Teresa, as you're saying, relaunch. It just landed for me earlier this morning. RE. I love that. In front of any word. Renew, rethink, redo, recreate, renovate. And Julie, the relaunch. I mean, you are a very conscious evolutionary leader. And as this gets relaunched, it's tied directly to the planet Uranus, which is said to be the ruler, so to speak. I see it as the inspirer and majestic one of the new era, bringing forth that which is everything. So again, thank you for answering the call and for bringing so many of us together. You are the very definition of unity. And I think deep in your heart, you get it. Synthesis is unity. We have to realize and create that together. Thank you for uniting so many hearts across distance, for bringing your clarity, your beauty, and you get it. What Plato said, beauty will save the world.
Mm.
Just so much love. I love you so much. I love everybody so much. I love that our hearts connect and that we stand together in unitive consciousness. So all best wishes with the relaunch as you are fully answering this call and inviting all of us to play with you. Love you.
So, you're the best. Dot, I'm going to bring in another friend that you invited in, Julian. Maybe you can introduce us to Kate to add some words also in.
You know, when Teresa said, do you have like maybe some guests on the show, some fans of the show? I like to call them listeners because the fan thing is kind of irrelevant, right? It's like who's really embodying these messages and listening. So the first person I thought of was Kate Roberts. Like, Kate is one of my very favorite all-time listeners. I know she's listening. She gives me feedback. She engages with the content. She misses it, or she'll say, I'm in a meeting and I can't listen. And, you know, like, Kate is one of my very favorite all-time listeners and an amazing conscious evolutionary herself. Like, she is the mistress of networking and bringing people together and showing up and doing her part. And so I just thought of Kate. So Kate, I'm so happy that you're here with us.
Well, it's really an honor to be here because for so many weeks you brought us vital voices and showed us how to embody this unity of consciousness that we all dream about and look to. And you're a humble visionary in my experience. I met you at a co-creators call and we've been playing together ever since, is what I feel like, that we, you know, it's just through this creative interface that things have really happened. And well, I just thank you for all of the vital voices that you have brought forth and just yeah, I think if there's anyone who can break through our egoic places that we go to and really bring us together, it is your voice. You know, you are just this humble visionary. And so I like to say, as we've jumped into this magic canoe, you can really help us navigate this liminal space between what isn't working and this new world we all envision. And so I'm really excited the show's back because it's like, yeah, what happened? All things connected. And so who knows what we might get this time around. You know, I just think that with all of your experience and the what's the word? The ability you've had to connect with so many voices. And as we hear those voices once again, with our new awareness, so I'm excited for the future.
Aw, that's beautiful, Kate. You have so much love around you, Julie. This is a really good thing. I mean, how can something launch with this much love and not be a change on the planet, right? It's so, so important. Well, listen, Julie, I think we should go next to you talking a little bit about the series, the first one that's coming up with Jude. And Kaylin can bring up the slide for us, and you can talk a little bit about the new series. And I think we have a little video from Jude too that we can play at some point. So give us a little insight into what we're going to see.
Okay, so the first series, which drops today and launches, is with our dear friend Dr. Jude Curvin, and I've been training my mind to say Curvin, because I always say Curvan, the more Western way of saying it, and she's such a sweetheart. I love listening to her. So Jude can't be with us today because she launched this book, released this brand new book, The Story of Gaia, and she's doing all kinds of publicity work with it. And that's what her day was filled with today again. But early on, when I was asked to read her book and write an endorsement for it, I'm like, of course, I would love to. And I thought I knew what this book was going to be and had this preconceived notion of the story of Gaia, knowing the science. It's going to be science backed. It's 13.8 billion years. And she had talked to me about the book on many occasions and her metamorphosis in listening to Gaia as well. So I kind of like felt like a companion on her journey, but I had no idea what was going to happen to me. And so I talk about it a little bit on the intro today when we drop our first show. The book really opened me and to the life inside. Like there was an aliveness. I was open to Gaia herself coming alive inside of me. And it started real subtly with just having a more intimacy with different elements of life itself. So each page, it was like there was this warming of a relationship. But there was this one day where literally I had this mystical experience and the whole universe opened up inside of me and I could see and I could feel. And it was like this amazing experience that I had. And I knew at that point we had to bring this voice out to others and do it in a way that, one show couldn't do this. And so I talked to Jude about that. I asked her if she wanted to co-host the conversation so that we had a lot of different voices, but we had her and I holding and framing the conversation. And she said yes. And so we literally have recorded more than half of those shows. We have a list of guests that have read the book as well. All of them have had an experience with it. It's like they're having their own embodied experience with Gaia and the story of Gaia. So, I just invite you to tune into it. Hopefully, with the content, you'll get to feel the essence of Gaia speaking through all of us right now and through this shift on the planet, through the evolution of consciousness, that we feel what Gaia herself is doing as this impulse is moving us. And you can also feel your place in the larger, bigger picture. I think it's really an important voice and body of work right now. And even as simply as my relationship with bacteria, like all of a sudden I fell in love with bacteria. Why? Because you got to read the book and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, Teresa, thank you for that opportunity. And we do have a video here that Jude sent a message. And
yeah, let's play it.
Okay, we'll do that.
Oop. We're muted, Kaylin. Can we start again? There we go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jude Curvin. I'm sorry I can't join you live to celebrate the relaunch of the Dr. Julie Show with my beloved friend Julie, and for the show's first series of programs entitled Our Conscious Planet that I'm delighted to co-host. I'm grateful, though, to be able to send my love and best wishes with this video message. Julie is truly a beautiful, inspirational, and embodied soul model of unitive and evolutionary awareness. Her empathic and profound wisdom and compassion shine through all she does, and does with wonderful expertise and dedication, always in service to the good of the whole. Julie's invitation to join her as co-host and with our amazing guests to discuss and explore the incredible story of our conscious planet Gaia is based on my just published book, The Story of Gaia, The Big Breath and the Evolutionary Journey of Our Conscious Planet. What we've both loved and look forward to sharing with our listeners is, as Irvin Laszlo has said about the book, perhaps the greatest story ever told, and now with the authority of cutting-edge science. Based on scientific breakthroughs, with evidence at all scales of existence and across numerous fields of research, the book and our online series of Our Conscious Planet explores an emergent cosmology of a conscious, living universe. Revolutionary insights are discovering a universe whose appearance emerges from deeper levels of non-physical causation, which meaningfully and purposefully evolves and as a unified entity. From simplicity to complexity and diversity, forward toward ever greater levels of individuated and collective self-awareness. As Julie says, unity isn't an ideal, it's real. Central to its unitive narrative is the recognition of and felt sense of our interbeing, our interconnectedness, interdependence, and belonging with the whole community of our planetary home Gaia and with the entire universe, and which also contextualizes biological emergence as the expression of an inherently living and dynamically evolving universe. Above all, multiple scientific disciplines are concluding that mind and consciousness aren't something we have, but rather what we and the whole world fundamentally are. Beginning 13.8 billion years ago, not in the implied chaos of a Big Bang, but as a minute, beautifully ordered and incredibly fine-tuned first moment of an ongoing big breath, our sentient universe emerged. A space expands from its minuscule birth, and time has flowed from past to present to future. Life embodies a profound evolutionary impulse, driven not by random occurrences and mutations, but through resonant and harmonic interplays of forces and influences that are meaningfully and coherently informed and guided. Gaia's continuing emergence is embodied in collaborative and synergistic relationships and dynamic co-evolutionary partnerships on a planetary scale, where now the conscious evolution, the revolution, the we-evolution of humanity may be realized as an integral part of our planet's own evolutionary progress and purpose. Our guests have each brought their own profound insights and complementary perceptions to this emergent new and unitive narrative. The power of myth and storytelling and the practical and experiential way showers to a remembered wholeness. A deep reverence for Gaia as our planetary mother. The power of our authentic voices in singing the songs of our souls that are a reflection of the primordial Om that sang our universe into being. The integration of our personal and collective heads and hearts and hands, our purpose to serve our conscious evolution. And as Jean Houston, one of our esteemed guests, has commented, to read this book is to be enhanced, empowered, and evolved into the receiving of a consciousness that evokes the higher human intelligence yearning to unfold in this time of change, trauma, and the coming of a world that works for all. It's my great honor and joy to join Julie to relaunch this new era of the Dr. Julie Show. And I send my wholehearted best wishes for it to grow and grow in reaching ever more listeners with who, like me, so appreciate Julie and all the love and wisdom she and her guests bring to all of us for the good of the whole.
Just love Jude. Wow. What a beautiful message.
I love
And
that evolution, revolution, weevolution. That was sweet.
yeah, there is something really powerful about the message of that book and this series that you had, because we really do start to feel our connection to Gaia in a way where we're the cells in the body instead of separate from it. We got Bob Atkinson joining us today. We thought he'd be the perfect one to come on after Jude. I know you guys have been, doing a lot of work together, and he's been a guest on your show. So, Bob, nice to have you on for this celebration.
Thank you so much, Teresa and Julie. It's really great to be here with you today on this special day, and to honor you, Julie, as a Renaissance woman of the dawning unitive age. It's amazing what you've done with all of your incredible energy, and the ways you've been able to manifest it in the world. We've shared about 5 of those years of the 9 or so that you were talking about earlier, and the timing for me was perfect, and the just learning about what you're doing was just so fit so perfectly with my book that came out 5 years ago. But I don't know if anybody has mentioned this or even thought of it, but what's also amazing to me is how your organization, Good of the Whole, is so intricately and importantly interconnected with your podcast, All Things Connected. I mean, obviously they are 2 parts of you and your incredible manifestations in the world that are so interconnected. Because that first question that you always ask everyone is so great. I've had a few opportunities to try to think of different answers to that, but really the way that you've tied your organization and your show together with that title, All Things Connected, and that question. I mean, it comes down to all things in the entire creation make up an interconnected whole. And you've, over these 9 years, you've, as you said earlier, you've helped the world come to realize that with you, and with the guests that you had on. It's been so amazing to see that evolution, even in the a short, less than a decade. And for me, it's also, I just have to throw this in, it's just been so delightful and wonderful and perfect for you and I to work together in another way, to be able to have you as our MC of One Planet Peace Forum, the annual gathering that we've had online now for 3 years going. Just to have you there in that role for us has just been so wonderful and so deeply appreciated as well. But you're really bringing the world along with you in all that you're doing with your show and your organization, and so we're having the guests that you have on is so amazing to see how it all happens. As we've said many times before, all together now, it's happening. But it really comes down to being able to visualize the whole first. And when we do that, that enables us to look deeper and probe the fundamental truths of universal relationships and the evolutionary nature of consciousness. That's been happening more and more every year and with every guest that you've had on your show. And in this wholeness, even apparent opposites like yin and yang, feminine and masculine, they become complementary, interrelated halves of the same whole, balancing, integrating, uniting, and transcending their perceived duality, allowing us to recognize, honor, and achieve unity in the diversity of our expressions. So understanding unity as the primary characteristic of the wholeness of all things and applying that in everything we do, as you're doing, in everything you're doing, that's what will ensure our living into the understanding that wholeness is all there is.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I look, it was a real pleasure, as you know, to be one of your and Jude's guests on the first series that you just mentioned and Jude was just talking about. It was just a real pleasure to be with both of you there. And I am looking forward to whenever you can get to it with your incredible work that's unfolding now, to a series on my new book, A New Story of Wholeness. Looking forward to all of that with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Bob. Bob and I will sit in a Zoom room together and just start talking. You know, we have business to take care of, the One Planet Peace Farm or something. And all of a sudden we find ourselves in this amazing, rich conversation about wholeness. And it goes on for an hour. I'm like, that should have been a show right there. It was amazing. So we do that often. And thank you for your kind words, Bob. And I'm looking forward to bringing A New Story of Wholeness out in a big way. We've talked about a couple different ideas for that coming up, and it's a great book, everyone. It's an amazing book, A New Story of Wholeness, if you haven't picked that up yet. So thank you, Bob. And yeah, it was fun. We met because of your award-winning first book. Well, it wasn't your first book, but the other book 5 years ago. And then look at everything that's transpired since then. It's been just such a delight working with you.
Yeah. We put a link to the chat to your book in the chat if anybody wants to get it. Janice said, I just got his new book and it's amazing. You got to have it. So we also put Jude's book in there. So Julie, let's hear about the next series.
Oh, yes.
I mean, yeah, Kaylin can bring up the slide for that. The Main Street Mystic series. Yeah.
I am so excited about this. I am so excited about this series. I'm so excited about this series. So earlier in the year, actually, it was a year ago now, I was trying to schedule, I'm going to tell you the history. I was trying to schedule the first author of the Common Sentience series, Dr. Stephen Farmer, for a show. And literally, we scheduled him and there was a mishap and he missed it. So we rescheduled it and then it was double booked and then we stopped, we rescheduled it again. And it was like, what is happening here? And all of a sudden I just saw, oh, you have to wait. The Common Sentience book series is going to be a series of conversations. I couldn't just have one show with Stephen Farmer. I had to wait. So I contacted Patricia, and she's with us here, Ariel Patricia, with Sacred Stories. And I said, how about we do a whole series? And she was delighted. And we started talking about this series and really musing into even deeper, more of a embodiment of voice of the science and spirituality of my academic side, my scientific side, that's really put my mystic side in the closet for a really long time. And so Ariel and I were having some really beautiful conversations together. And she said, let's talk to Kurt and tell him what's going on. And Kurt said, have you read Paul Mills' book? Like, do you know? Like, and all of a sudden, this whole world opened up. So Dr. Paul Mills and I have been working on a series to bring his new book is Science, Being and Becoming, The Spiritual Lives of Scientists. It's full. Light on Light Press published it through Sacred Stories. They're a part of this, and it is full of scientists telling their stories, their spiritual stories, them coming out of the closet of their own spiritual experiences. So we're going to pair, and this was the vision for this Common Sentience series. I was going to pair the authors of the Common Sentience series with scientists and experts on consciousness. So I was going to hold those two things together so we could help normalize the non-ordinary states of consciousness. Let's bring the science of consciousness in. Let's bring these wisdom keepers in. And here comes Dr. Paul Mills, who just wrote a book with all these scientists. And so it has turned into an incredible opportunity. And I'm really looking forward to bringing all these elements together. And yeah, and here you are, Ariel, Patricia. I'm just going to let you jump in here. And if you want to add a few words here about this upcoming series, Main Street Mystics, and yeah, the Common Sentience series. You're on mute, Ariel.
Absolutely. First of all, Julie, congratulations on the relaunch of the Dr. Julie Show. I've said this before and I'll say it again, and as much as I possibly can. Julie is really, truly the embodiment of the new divine feminine, the new that is coming forward, that is brilliant and educated and tuned in and compassionate and just leads with her open heart. And she gets it. She gets it at such a level that it's so seamless. So when Common Sentience is kind of my passion project, my soul work, and it is a full series that is continuing. There's 8 books that have already been released. I took the liberty, I hope it's okay, putting the link in the chat. And I just want to kind of like hold up these like beautiful like book series. Like these are all real. And this is a compendium, a beginning compendium of spiritual wisdom paired with the mystical experiences. So we ground the wisdom, which is what Julie always does. And now we've brought the mystical experiences to help us bring our spirituality out of the closet, right? It's the last closet we need to come out of. And people are showing up and sharing loudly and proudly and with open hearts these beautiful experiences with very specific spiritual phenomenon. So Julie got that. She got that and she was like, this is so brilliant. But then how Julie thinks and how Julie's background in science, she says, you know, but we need to validate this. We need to validate this so that others, it can get really big and people really embrace it. And they just don't think it's some spiritual thing that's happening. And she says, we need to bring the science in because the science is proving all of the stuff that's in this book, all of these experiences that people are having with this specific spiritual phenomenon, science proves it. And so as the universe says, you know, science being and becoming. I have that book as well. It's easy. It's nice when you're the publisher, you get a lot of books. Science being and becoming. And I said, we know scientists, you know, we know lots of scientists. And it was just such a brilliant marriage. A really, you know, almost the feminine, the mystical of the feminine, and really the masculine, right, of the proving or the logical aspect of it. And Paul Mills is brilliant, and he's brought together. So Science Being Becoming is the spiritual lives of scientists. It's everything we're doing in the Common Sentience book series, but it's scientists who up to this point have been, you know, not felt very comfortable or free to say, yeah, you know what, there is more beyond this physical world. Yeah, you know what, it's happening to me too. So it's just a brilliant marriage, and Julie could not be a more perfect container right? You know, to create this container to bring this out, because you really do get it all, Julie. You get the science, you get the academic, all of the scholarly research, and you get the mystic. You are the mystic. And I just want to say one more thing. Main Street Mystic, normalizing the non-ordinary. This is stuff that Julie told me, this is years in the making for her. She was normalizing the non-ordinary, writing about normalizing the non-ordinary years ago. And now the time has come, my friend, to really do it. So.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Ariel. That's beautiful. And yeah, I think it's a lifetime of work that wants to emerge through this series. So thank you so much for being a big part of it and helping to facilitate this series. I'm so excited. Dr. Paul Mills is on a cross-country trip. He was going to join us today, but couldn't. And you'll be seeing more. We'll do some kind of fun thing with that series, and you'll get to meet him as well. So yeah.
Yeah, just a pleasure, a real pleasure, Julie. And excited to see what you and Paul and the authors from the Common Sentient series, how you all come together and really bring this mystic to Main Street.
Thank you. Julie, I'm going to bring on another one of your dear friends and colleagues. Jeff, I just had him and then I lost him there. Let's see. Where is he? Jeff. There he is. Just passed him by. There you are. Here we go. Bring in Jeff to add his love and blessings for you today. Julie, you might want to say something about why you had brought Jeff on. I know he's a special friend.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Jeff. Thank you for coming. And Jeff is another one of the listeners' favorite guests on the show. When we do a show with Jeff, it stirs up a lot and people converse and share. And so it's been really fun to have Jeff as a guest on my show. And Jeff just knows the Main Street Mystic part of me as well. And I just know that, yeah, you're important to me, Jeff, and you're important to the show. And I'm really happy that you're here to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie, and thank you, everyone. As so many have said so beautifully, congratulations on this momentous threshold that you're stepping across with the show. And I have been listening and feeling the energy and the heart that is present here today. And what came to me actually is a blessing, and it just flowed to write down some words. And with your permission, I'd love to share that with the group.
No, please.
So, yes. Dearest Julie, thank you for claiming what is true, for living and leading the way, and for embodying evolutionary change. Thank you for creating a platform that enables so many to step into the epochal opportunity of unity and unity consciousness, which is the greatest show on earth. Your impact is planetary. Your modeling of evolution is exemplary. Thanks to you and the Dr. Julie Show, we no longer need to prove that all things are connected. Now that we know, all of us together can step confidently into ever-increasing sanity for the whole human family. Thank you for showing up at this time of convergence, of science and spirituality, of Main Street mysticism and Gaian awakening. Thank you for showing up for all of life and always for the good of the whole. Thank you for convening us in potent conversations and collaborations that reverberate through the internet airwaves and enlighten the noosphere. Now is the time for the flowering of unitive consciousness. Dear sister, may you flower, and may the relaunched Dr. Julie Show flower in service to goodness, in service to the overflowing goodness of humanity and the whole. I love you. We love you. Godspeed, Godspeed. Namaste.
That was so beautiful. Teresa liked it too. I could see her face just
That was
there.
perfect. That was so
Yeah,
beautiful.
that
Thank you,
was.
Jeff. I knew you were going to bring a blessing and I could feel it. I could feel it. Well, gosh, we're just round that 60 minutes went so fast, Julie, and I wanted to bring in Tony, who is your producer. You can say something about Tony. And I have Kaylin getting ready to bring up your website too, which we can show everybody because that's where we can now have the Dr. Julie podcast. But Tony, wonderful to have you.
Hello, it is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you all so much. And Dr. Julie, we are finally launching. Can you believe it?
Oh, I know. Tony, I just want to extend gratitude to you. You have been, Tony was my producer at Empower Radio for years. And when I went, I don't know what to do now, Tony's like, I got your back, Jules. And like literally, Tony has helped everything from transitioning all my shows off of the Empower platform to Podbean, to figuring out the tech, to, I mean, like behind the scenes stuff to make sure that the Dr. Julie show could go on, to also showing up to produce each and every show and working lots of hours with me, Tony. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Julie. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure every step of the way. I'm so excited to relaunch the show. We've recorded, I think, all or most of our episodes with Jude. We're still recording episodes with Paul, and I'm just so excited to share it with everybody in the world. I truly believe in the show. It's an honor. It's a privilege to work on it. And yeah, I can't wait to listen to more. I often feel less like a producer and more like a privileged first listener of the show. So thank you for that, Julie. Thank you for sharing your message, and thank you for the opportunity to work with the show again. It's really an honor.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
That's great. Well, let's have Kaylin bring up the website. And so now today, is Jude's launching today then? So that was the first podcast?
Today, it should be launching within moments.
Okay, well, let's bring up the website just so everybody can see the doctor. It's drjuliepodcast.com. Kaylin can bring that up.
So you can still go to thedrjulieshow.com and it'll take you to a parent page on my website. And now we have the Podbean site. So this is the actual Podbean home where all the episodes, you'll find them. If you scroll down, there it is. There's the first.
Oh, it's up.
Yay. So there it is, the very first one. This was just with Jude and I having a conversation, and I surprised her. I brought the voices in of all the people who endorsed the book and brought that to her, and we had a conversation. It was a really delightful conversation. But this is how you find the new, the show. Yeah. And if you just go to, this one is drjuliepodcast.com to get here, but you can always find it on the juliekroll.com site or on the drjulieshow.com because it's all there. So these are all this is the work that Tony did to help migrate all of the shows of 9 years or 7 years, because the Transformation Talk Radio aren't here. He migrated all the Empower Radio shows over here. And then if you still want to look up old shows, there's archives on the website and other ways to link. And the series with the codes for a healthy earth are still on the website under juliekroll.com or thedrjulieshow.com. Our Moment of Choice series is still there. So there's lots of ways to still tune in and listen to the show.
Yay!
Well, it's so wonderful to see it live.
Yeah, I've never seen it with the dark. On my website, it's the light and then the dark. So it's in reverse now. So this is interesting. I didn't know that people could choose how they're looking at it. So that's kind of cool. Thank you, Kaylin.
Yeah, thanks, Kaylin. That's so nice to see it. And for us to be able to actually see the new series go live today, which is super exciting. And we can go ahead and let that go, Kaylin, and we'll just bring Julie and Tony back on. I'm thinking that it would be really nice to go onto gallery view now. Julie, and you might have to do that so that everybody can see it since you're the host. Just go to gallery view. You can see all of the wonderful people who have come to bless this event. And before we hear from Linda and Glenn, just in some closing words, and anybody that wants to stay on and offer their blessings, let's just all take a minute right now to send the energy of our love and our blessings and our upliftment to Julie Kroll and to the Dr. Julie Show and all of the presenters, all of the listeners, everyone that's going to be touched from this. Let's just take a moment to just really send this launch off with our love and blessings. And Julie, you got to open to receive it fully. This is the moment.
Mm.
How we start anything is what unfolds from here. So this one's starting with a lot of love and blessings.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, Kate's rattling. We've got it all going on. So I want to honor everybody's time. We're a few minutes over, but here's an opportunity for us just to hang out a little bit. If you want to, I know Linda came to say some words and so did Glenn. If you need to go, blessings on your day. And thank you so much for being part of this blessing and celebration of the relaunch. And if you can stay for a few minutes and just want to offer up some words, we'd love to hear your voice. And Linda,
And turn
maybe
your
we
camera on.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn
Yeah,
your
turn your camera
We'd love
on
to see it.
so we can see your beautiful face. And Linda, let's start with you.
Well, thanks so much, Teresa, and everyone who's part of this and being here. And Julie, I just, the words that I want to say come from sister friendship. And it's over the 9 years that I've known you, when Julie and I met at the Co-Creators Convergence for the first time, we looked at each other and thought, are we related? It was just an instant connection. And it's been such a joy to get to know who you are and what you're about for these 9 years, and to watch you evolve and truly anchor your dream. This is your gift to the world. And I know Bill and I saw that and kept encouraging you. So it's just wonderful to see that you're doing what you're doing now. This relaunching is really a new launching. And I'm just honored to be here and very excited to see what's going to unfold. All that you've said today and the new series that are coming out, it's so important to know that even if we're going through our chrysalis stage, like I did that for a while, I backed off and just needed to take care of myself and family issues and things that needed my care, but knowing that I was still connected to everyone who's here, whether I know you or not, and connected through Julie and with Good of the Whole to all the people that I've met over the last 9 years, and knowing that we're just doing this work together, whether we see each other for every day or for a long period of time in between. It's just this connection that we know is here. So thank you, Julie. You know, I love our talks and I love you, and I love that we're here and that you're doing this. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Yes.
And Julie, I just honor that. Hey, I'm connected, and all of us on this Zoom are connected, and the universe just continues to evolve and spin and expand through time and space, and it continually surprises me about how molecules and atoms recombine and offer us new adventures and insights and revelations and renewed excitement, renewed energy, renewed vision of and we see things in new perspectives and new ways. And it's just awesome that we're all able to do this in this time and space. And thank you for being a catalyst and an energizer for me and for so many. So mahalo from Kauai. Come see us soon.
Thank you.
Wow. Julie, do you see all the blessings that are coming in the chat from all of these beloveds of yours? I mean, this is being seeded with some major love and grace, as you said, Don.
I see people that I didn't know were in the room because I've had it on just the spotlight view and haven't been able to see the room. And now I'm just seeing all these beautiful people who blessed us. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. This is amazing.
Yeah. Kathy Roski, so nice to see you, and thank you for all you've been doing over the years. It's like there's a lineage of truth holders that have been really holding the space for a really long time, and it feels good to know that it's finally rising and flourishing. And but lovely to have you. I wonder if you want to say something, Catherine.
No, thanks, Teresa. Yeah, just really honoring you, Julie, and this your continuous devotion and service, and thinking about 10 years ago meeting you with Barbara, and just all that your creativity and genius continue to bring forth. And so excited to experience this new podcast, and just mostly as a beloved sister, thank you for all that you are, all that you continue to bring forth.
Thank you, Catherine.
Beautiful. Anybody else before we close for the day want to offer something else? Mary Michelle, lovely to see you. Yeah, so many beautiful. Connie Baxter Merlot, you are on all the calls. We see you always in the community. Lovely to have you. It looks like Sherilyn. Yeah, go ahead. Did you have your hand up? Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you, Teresa, for doing this for Julie, because she would not have done it.
She would not have done it.
Or it would have been her giving to everyone instead of receiving. So watching her receive because of the beautiful support, and you just did a great job, and I just am appreciating you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, more to come. Dr. Julie, Julie and I, Good of the Whole, Islands of Coherence, Global Coherence Pulse, we're all joining together. We're all saying, if we synergize our energies, if we come together, because we're serving the same community, all of us are serving the same demographic. We're all one big community. And if we join together, we'll do less and we'll be impactful more. And so you'll be seeing more of this kind of offerings. And as we're launching something, if you're launching something, make sure that you have a launch event and put some love and energy into it, because what we feed the field matters, and it makes a difference in launching these beautiful projects. I think Dr. Janet raised her hand and wanted to say something, but yes.
Yeah. Just check the chat, Julie. I think you and I can support one another in many ways. I'd love to have a conversation with you to see how we can make that happen.
Thanks,
And
Janet.
I'll just comment real fast. I am still closely connected with Robin Youngblood and Noelle and Bob, Noelle Warner. No, let me get it straight. Noelle Marshall and Bob Warner as well. So I'll just pass that.
Janet.
I have a lot of connections. So let's talk.
Thank you, Janet. And Mary Michelle, you had your hand up too.
Oh yeah, I did really quick. Hello, everyone. This is this beautiful collective. It's been amazing to sit here with my kids coming in and out, and I'm in California right now, so we're chilling out a bit. And what I have to say about Julie, we've been in various works together. Teresa, you and I also through the last few years with Dr. Shelley Ostroff. And Julie is what she says on screen is how she lives her life off screen. And that's how I can really see the character of a human as emerging. We all go through these stages, right? And now she's emerging again. So bravo, my darling. Keep doing what you're doing, because it's wonderful and it is truly needed. Blessings.
Thank you.
And rocket, sister.
Mary Michelle's going to be on the show talking about her new book as well. So yeah, congratulations on that, Mary Michelle.
Blessings. Thank
Beautiful.
you. Thank
It
you.
looks like one more Sharon Hardy. Lovely to see you. I always see your name too on all kinds of events, part of the community. What would you like to share?
Ho,
Ho.
ho, 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 and a ho, ho, ho. I just found myself vocalizing all morning. I've been driving, helping a friend get to an appointment doctor, and I've just been chanting. It's like the energy is just pouring through, and it's all, I've just been sending it all morning and to you for this, and it's for us all, and I just love it. So thank you, Julie, and everybody.
Yeah,
thank you, Sharon. You're right. It's for us all, right? It is for the impulse of evolution itself. It's for the voice of conscious evolution. Oh.
All right. So, Julie, final closing words from you today as the relaunch of the Julie Show goes out into the world with all of this love and joy and grace and upliftment.
Wow. Julie at a loss for words. Wow. I just want to say thank you. Like, thank you, Teresa, for bringing this event forward and doing it eloquently like you always do. And everyone that contributed to this was, yeah, thank you. Thank you. And everyone who showed up in the room, I'm just like delighted for all these friends and beautiful cohorts that we've been working. This is us, right? Like, this is the Dr. Julie Show is lifting this movement, this impulse of evolution itself, the voice. And it's just exciting to watch that. Now I'm talking too much. So I'm just going to say, yes, this is us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. And I look forward to the drop of the first show today, which is exciting. And just to say, you can find all of them on all your normal podcast platforms. So if you are an Apple person, if you're an iHeart, Stitcher, whatever you're at, you could still go to all the same places that you've been listening, and they're still there. So if you have any questions or can't find it or want to know how to tune in and it's different, just send me an email. I'd love to help you find that spot again. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Teresa.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Blessings, everyone. Take this energy and spread it around the planet. Whoever you connect with today, just let it pour out on them. Let today be a blessing for everyone. Love you all. Thank you again for being here. Yay. Yay, us.
Yay, go team. Right? Go team.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Bye, everybody. Thank